Hey, this is Mark coming to you from Baker's Green Acres. And so the last time I did a video on these beef that we processed, sometimes butchers say knocked down, but that's a little crude, I guess, because we really love these animals, and I was the one that had to do the shooting, and I spent time with these animals every day for 3 years. You know, they'd always come in when I milked. They were beef cows, but they didn't know they were beef cows. And one day, all of a sudden, they were out eating, and I went out there with a rifle and shot them. And the rest of the cows must have thought, gee, that's kind of cold, but that's what we had to do. So anyway, we went through the process of getting them skun, eviscerated them. That means we we gutted them. We took their internal organs out. Then we trimmed up those carcasses. We split the carcasses down the middle and then sectioned them. So an entire carcass, beef carcass, we sectioned it into 6 pieces. Now, not everybody would do that, but we didn't have the equipment to really handle those halves. And these were really big steers. So, we had to do what we had to do. That's the problem with butchering beef, is there's a lot of weight and they're cumbersome. Right? So we sectioned them up in 6 pieces. You're going to have the rear shank, you're going to have the center section. That's where all your T-bones come from. And then the front shoulder and the neck, right? Front shoulders and necks, a lot of that went right into the shop, and we boned it out very quickly and got it ground, turned into hamburger. So a lot of that is already secured, and it is in the freezer. When you grind meat up like that, you're not so worried about the tenderness of it because you're grinding it up, so it's going to tenderize it. But the cuts, like the T-bones and a lot of the cuts that come off the rear shanks, we want to hang that meat. And if you take a beef into a butcher, generally they'll hang it for 10 days. Well, and that may seem strange to you, meat, you're going to hang it. Well, they'll hang it at about 38 degrees, and the bacterial action is slowed way down at 38 degrees, and it starts to tenderize the meat. Actually, it's the beginning stages of rotting, right? Because if we left that cow sitting out in the field, eventually there would be nothing there because it would rot, the bacteria would eat it, all the other microbes would eat it, the birds would eat it. Eventually, it would be gone, right? And it's designed that way, or else we'd have a lot of dead animals just laying around. You notice a deer on the side of the road that gets hit, eventually it just goes away. And it's not because a feral pig is eating it either. All right, so these have been hanging here. This is my maintenance shop, and you can see I have a rail up there. We put that rail in just recently in order to do this job. And it's there so that I had a place to hang these. I couldn't hang them in the shop. There's not enough room, the butcher shop. And also we needed the butcher shop for other things, and I didn't want them in there. We were going to be doing turkeys, and the steam from the turkeys and all of that activity would actually get on this, and you could set up a bacterial bloom, and you don't want that. So, like, this shop is secure. We keep the door shut now. Birds can't come in here at night because that could be bad too. And these pieces have been hanging here for 14 days today. Okay, 14 days. And when you come in here, you smell, I don't smell anything, really. If I get over close to them, it's a nice, fresh beef smell, but there's no rancidity at all. But I want to caution you here, these animals have been strictly fed on grass. They have not had one mouthful of corn, okay? The corn that is available to us now is a different fat than the fats that are in grass. I'll just put it that way, all right? I don't want to start any controversy, but For me and my family, I'm not selling this to anybody. This is all staying here, and it's going to be consumed by me and my family. This is grass-fed. These guys have had nothing but grass. And when I say grass, they were finished on grass, because the day that I shot them, they were out on the field and there was grass out there. And it was a couple weeks ago, but it was still pretty good grass. Actually, it's good grass now. A lot of our snow is kind of gone, and I can see green grass out there. I'm thinking I may even get the cows out, because they can utilize that. There's no problem. But if you hang a corn-fed animal up for 14 days, you could have crossed a line that you'd be sorry for. And so I'm making no claim to corn-fed animals and hanging. And I'm not saying you should do this. I'm just saying this is how we do it. And it might be of interest to the people in our audience. There you go. So let's say this was 1900. We would have a place in the barn where we would do this. We would hang these animals up, these sections. We would put a shroud around them, and then we would take the meat off as we needed it. And back then, they were in sustenance mode, so they weren't saying, "Oh, we're going to have us some T-bones tonight." No, they didn't. Wasn't like that. They were taking pieces off, putting it in stews, and using it very frugally, because they didn't eat meat then like we do now, because back then they were concerned about the kids getting too skinny. Now we're concerned about the kids getting too fat, right? So they ate less then because they had to stretch it out then. That was the whole reason. We will probably cut these up. This is kind of next on the list of things to do. But if I go another week before I cut these up, there's going to be no harm done. Matter of fact, it is usually about 30 degrees in here. It's 11 outside today, and the wind's blowing. But in here, it's probably 30 something. I know it's freezing, but that meat is still soft. It's still soft. Well, I don't know as you can see it. But it's got a nice coating of fat on it, and that will all come off actually very easily when it's the day that we're going to cut this. This is all really nice and preserved. So that's a lot of sustenance right there for a family, a whole lot. Now this isn't going to be sold. So you may be asking, why'd you do it yourself? Why didn't you take it to a butcher? Well, that's the point. I want to do it myself. Plus, you write a check for about $500 when you have a beef processed, a big one like this. It's probably been more like $600. And there's parts of it that they can't give you back according to the USDA, the Department of Agriculture. They won't let you have certain parts back. And we want all of it. I don't want any of this animal that we took good care of and is now going to take care of us to go in a trash bin someplace and then just get, I don't know. I didn't want that. We wanted the hearts. We wanted everything. We wanted everything. I have the hoofs. I'm still going to use them. That big knuckle that's on them, or the bottom part of the leg, we're going to use. So we had our reasons for wanting to do it ourselves. So there it is. That's a little follow-up on it. And I just want to give you a friendly reminder that tonight at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, if you go to Baker's Green Acres YouTube channel, we have a live chat. And this is where people are able to fire messages at Jill and I. It used to just be me, but now a lot of messages are going to her because she's like the holistic health, Ayurvedic student of medicine person, and she's got a lot of input for people as far as their own personal health. Your health is just an extension, or your farm health is an extension of your health, and your health is an extension of your farm, I guess. It's amazing how those two organisms, a farm and a human body, there's a lot of similarities to them. Or one of these beefs and a human body, a lot of similarities. As far as taking care of them, health and nutrition and all that stuff. it all kind of comes into focus when you start to understand it. And I don't know, I get it. I'm not sure everybody can, but that's neither here nor there. We get together on Wednesday nights, and we've been doing it, I guess, for a year now. And we're getting a pretty good sized crowd, and we're considering going to a slightly different format to where somebody can actually pick the phone up and enunciate their question. I would like it if we could have a picture of that person, but that's a Zoom call, and that's at this point a little bit impossible for us to include, you know, the millions of people that tune into our show every week. So anyway, but for now, you can just fire a message to us in writing, and then I answer it the best I can or speculate on it or whatever, and sometimes we go off the beaten path a little bit and get into other territories, but we talk farm stuff, homestead stuff, and just plain living stuff. And I'm seeing good things come of this. Some of the people in our group, I'm seeing what they're doing, and they're posting pictures and stuff, and there's one family, I'm watching what they're doing, and I cannot believe the energy these people have to get done what they've got done in a short period of time. But this is kind of what networking is all about. I think there's people that have a lot of energy, a lot of time to do things. They don't really know where to start. So this is kind of like getting around the table and talking about what we're going to do in our lives. So here it is, winter. It's a good time to talk. We got a lot to do coming spring, and less time to talk. So anyway, I'm going to get off. My phone's getting cold. So's my hand. See you tonight. 8 o'clock, Baker's Green Acres YouTube channel. You just go to Baker's Green Acres YouTube channel, and shortly before 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, there'll be a notification, and I think you just click on it, and you're in. And then we go from there. Go about an hour, hour and a half sometimes. Could even go longer. I really look forward to it. It's fun. All right, see you tonight.